Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizzano, and you are listening to another episode of the world famous, the University Love, the best podcast in one, two, at three galaxies. But, ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about something very important. Today we are going to talk about sports, polarizing, and how you want to be. You want to have an opinion. You want to have an opinion. If everybody likes you, nobody likes you. Okay? If everybody likes you, you're doing something wrong, okay? And I say this, and before we start the show, I just want to say last week, Friday or Saturday, we did the show about negativity, ladies and gentlemen, and and somewhere along in that podcast, I told you that this is gonna be one of the most viewed podcasts on YouTube. The headline helps, but the negativity was all through the headline, and it got the most views that I've ever posted on YouTube. And I do absolutely nothing when it comes to. I have to do a better job when it comes to YouTube. They upload automatically. I have to go in and start, doing all the SEO and all that. But it's just uploading it, negative headline, negative podcast. It did the most views. As I told you last week, people love negativity. So throw in some negativity in your content and you will be A-OK. Now, today we are going to talk about polarizing figures, and we're going to talk about sports and polarizing figures. Now, last week, the WNBA, they started their playoff run, okay? And they had the top seeds. The top seeds were going up against the lower tier seeds. Okay? And so there was a lot of sweeps. But in those first couple games, they had a team, the Indiana Fever. If you never see the WNBA, they have a team in Indiana, and they have a player on the team that has become very popular in the WNBA. She was popular in college. She has taken her talent to the WNBA and has made the WNBA a very popular sport for the moment. For the moment. Now the WNBA, I hope they go back to being not as talked about, because I miss the good old days when the WNBA was just a league that you can go watch a game. Now you have everybody in the league. They're crying racism, and you would think people in the stands screaming at them. I don't, probably not. Maybe not. People on Twitter, they say people on Twitter call them the N word and all this and all that. You can always turn off Twitter. You don't have to have Twitter. You don't need it. You know, it's not a necessity. It's amazing what people think are necessities, but they really are not. Twitter is not a necessity. I use Twitter to upload the podcast, to start trying to drive people to the email list, but I don't go on there looking around Twitter. So if anybody ever said, Tony Rizzano, you're no good SOB, I probably would never see it, because it's social media. And social media is not a real thing. Okay? So, the WNBA, they have this polarizing young lady. She has drawn a lot of viewers. But over and over and over again, they say, "Oh, the league is not about. It's not all about her. Blah blah blah. We have all these other great players. Blah 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 blah." That's all good and well, and it's very true. But most 95% of the players in the WNBA, they do not drive the ratings needle. You are not going to hear many people say, "Today I want to watch the Phoenix Mercury." Okay, there are not a lot of people that want to say that. There are not a lot of people that say, "Hey, let me tune in and watch the Atlanta Dream." I live in Atlanta. There are not many people saying that. Okay, So this girl drives the needle, but they don't want the needle being driven. Okay. And now we will go to another team that is polarizing that every week people watch. It's Colorado Buffaloes. They are a college football team. Before Colorado, they used to have good years. They would have bad years. They were a run-of-the-mill business. Okay. Sometimes they would have great years. Sometimes they would have lean years. Okay. It was up and down, up and down, up and down. And then they decided to go poach Deion Sanders from where he was coaching at before, Jackson State. And Deion Sanders came. He came with a lot of hype, and he is great at marketing himself, and he has been great at marketing his children and another player that he has on the team. He has been great at doing that. So there are two sides of the fence. There is no in between when it comes to the Colorado Buffaloes. People love them. People hate them. There are no I don't care. The people that watch college football, they like, I love what Deion is doing. I love the braggadocio and all this jazz. And there are people that are like, I cannot stand this team. I hope this team falls off a cliff, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you want in your marketing. You want polarizing. You want they love you or they don't. You do not want the lukewarm. We talked about this in this podcast before. It's in the book of Revelations. Jesus, hot or cold? That's what Jesus wants you, hot or cold. Lukewarm, he spews you out of his mouth. Okay? It is very important. Now you don't have to go looking for controversy. You don't have to do that. You do not have to do that. There are a lot of times people just make up stuff and it's fake. And it's fake controversy. And they try to be fake outrage, okay? You can just give your opinion on something and people will be upset these days, you know? If you say men cannot have babies, there are a certain segment of the population who will get upset. Okay? Now we all know that men cannot have babies. Okay? If you were born a if you were born if you were at birth, if you was a female and you decided to transition into a man, you still have female parts. If you get pregnant, you are still a woman having a baby. Okay? It's just a fact. But there are people who will hear that statement and they will argue with me all the way up to the Supreme Court that men can have babies. It is impossible. Okay? That is the statement. If you believe that statement to be true, and if you say that to a group, if you say that to your audience, and somebody disagrees, now they're gonna say they don't like you. They're gonna say they're a bad person. Blah 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 blah. You see, you do not have to drum up controversy. You do not have to drum up you do not have to make up things. There are things that you can say. If you tell people, if you have a sports show and you say, I think Deion Sanders is going to fail miserably. He's one of the worst coaches in college football. There are going to be some people that say, I totally agree, and they're going to like you. And there are going to be some people that say, I can't stand them. Okay? It's just like the WNBA. If you right now, because the WNBA is a hot topic, if you say the WNBA overall, the league should fold up. It's not good. You know, the product's not good. The players complain about being paid. They complain about travel, but they don't make any money. They don't generate any, they don't generate money. They don't generate, you know, a lot of revenue. They've been carried for about 25 years now, and which I think the WNBA is cool and everything, but for them to be complaining about private jets and making as much money as people like LeBron James and Steph Curry is very asinine for a business that's not making any money. That statement alone, people will, if you listen to this podcast, you will say you either agree or you disagree. That the WNBA, it's okay. It's not the greatest thing in the world, and they should definitely, they are making like $200,000, $100,000. That is a great amount of money for a business. If you're not generating dollars and you're still making $200,000, ladies and gents, you are doing a-okay in life, okay? But these are statements, okay, and they are polarizing, and in your content, you know, you just tell the truth. You tell what you believe, what you think, and people will gravitate to you or they will pull away from you. But what you don't want is, I think, the layup for people. Whenever somebody talks about politics, people say, "Oh, they're all crooked," which is true. But it's like, a politician. A politician is a politician. A politician is one of the phoniest people on earth. I will say that. Politicians are some of the phoniest people on earth. And you got to be phony to be a politician. I mean, you go around, they really don't want to. People, you know, people claim that they care about, the country. It's like when you hear a conservative person, a conservative politician, and they claim that they care about the country. They really don't. They care about the pockets. Okay. And when you hear like a Democrat, when you hear Democrats say, that they care about the poor people in the middle class, they really don't. They don't either. But in the election, you can't say, well, both of these people suck. You got to pick one. You pick one, you figure out your reasons, and you go with that. You don't go, oh man, I don't know. Both of them stink. I should just vote, nobody. I mean, you can always go with the libertarian vote, but that vote is not gonna hold any weight because, as we both know, the two party system is a hoax, is a sham. Okay, and they've been working that system for years, the Democrats and the Republicans. But that's neither here nor there. It should be more parties, But hey, who am I? But anyway, what I'm telling you is, have an opinion. Okay, have an opinion. You want to be opinionated when it comes to your content. If you think that if you think that going to network events are not good, then say that. Don't say, it might work for you, it might not. Say, hey, I've been to a couple of networking events, they suck. And just leave it at that. It's just like, I'll tell you, I think audio is the best. I think audio is the best form because if you can get people to listen, the hardest thing the hardest thing for people to do, the hardest thing for people to do in today's society is to listen. Because people, whenever you talk to people, whenever you talk to people, they wait for you to get done so they can respond. They don't listen to the words that you speak. So the hardest thing for anybody to get anybody to do is to get people to actually listen to what they're saying. So whenever you do a podcast and people are tuned in, people are listening, and you get feedback, that means you are doing something right. Man, people do videos, but we all know that people that do videos, people that do content on social media, listen, it's tiresome. It's the same stuff. They just go, they see what's trending. They go do that. They made a joke about airlines. Oh, let me go slap a wig. a lot of you see a lot of quote unquote internet comedians. The men, one of the laziest things they do, slap on a wig and pretend to be a woman, and people go, "Oh man, that's funny." Yeah, that's what women be doing. Come on, man. You see one person having success, now you see 99 of them have it. Video is so copied. Okay, video is not, because the same person will make the same content, and then it'll be 1,000 other people making the same thing, and other people like, "Oh yeah, man, that's good, that's good." Who is the original person? Now we all know that a lot of things are not original. We all, everybody loves to say, I live in Georgia. I live in Atlanta. Everybody loves to say they had the best fried chicken. Fried chicken is great. Fried chicken is wonderful. But everybody makes fried chicken in all kinds of ways. I'm not saying you can buy the same meats, but put some seasoning on there. The reason I say about video is because the people, they take the same recipe, don't even change. They change nothing. They change nothing about the video, and they just do the same video. God almighty. It is bananas. You listen to this podcast, ain't nobody gonna tell you about, I mean, they might say, oh, they might broach on the subject of polarizing, but they're gonna use different topics. Nobody listening to this show is gonna go word for word what I'm saying, because you cannot. Okay? You will not. You will sound like an idiot. If you talk the way I talked, and you said, I'm gonna copy this guy word for word and do it on a podcast, you are a blithering idiot. You have to be, because there's no way that you can say, you can jot down word for word what I'm saying. People in the video, they do it all the time. I remember there was a guy, he was he used to do Amazon FBA. I'm not gonna say his name, because I think he used to go around getting people copy struck, So we not saying his name. We moving up. So definitely not gonna say his name. But he was a known thief. He would just take somebody on the smaller platforms content, and word for word he would do the video. Pop in this stuff word for word. Boom, 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 boom. I thought that is nutso. Okay. It would be crazy if somebody tried to do that with audio. So that's why I think podcasts are the greatest. Then you go podcast, the written word, and the video. Also, I'm 45 years old. I am not going to sit there and watch your videos all day long. I will listen to you if I think you're good. I will read your stuff, but watching you on the camera all day, I don't like TV that much. Okay? But be polarizing, have an opinion, say something that you mean. Listen, are you gonna be right all the time? Of course not. People out here just giving their opinions, and you can give yours, and it's gonna be a-okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you have to give your opinion. Do not be dry. Do not be milquetoast. Do not be, well, this one, if this happens, if that happens, it's like abortion. People are like, oh, I don't believe in abortion. I just don't. Of course, because people always harp on the circumstances of, somebody got raped. But I was doing research one day, and they say, somebody getting raped and all that, it's like 2% of the abortion cases. Which, hey, if somebody got raped or somebody was molested and they became pregnant, of course they should have the right to have an abortion. But if you're 25 years old and you just out here having unprotected sex and you get pregnant, you can't use abortion as a contraceptive. Okay, it's crazy. It's bad for your body. First off, it's bad for your body eventually. And then what if one day you want to have kids? Don't ask me, but it sounds nuts. So, but that's just me. I don't believe in it. I understand why they have it in certain circumstances, but that's a very small, very small, very small, very small percentage. Very small percentage. Okay? But the rest of them, no, it's no. It's a crutch. Okay? But ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We will be back on Wednesday with the all-new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Zano. Thank you for listening. God bless. And as always, everybody, peace.